Hello everyone and welcome back to Every Heart Can Dance. This is Kirill, and if you'd like to learn how to dance and create beautiful and graceful, elegant movements, not only on the dance floor but even outside of it, you came to the right place. I truly believe dance can make our lives much more happier and fulfilling. So today we are deep diving into true secret sauce that can make a dance not just good but captivating. And the secret sauce is in our arm movement. So stick around and I can guarantee you that by the end of this tutorial, we'll take your arm movement to a completely different level. Yes, it will be technical. Yes, we'll do it slowly and gradually. But once we are done, you will feel much more natural, rhythmical, and most importantly, it will look authentic and genuine. Are you ready? Follow me. Alrighty guys, right before we go into the depth of it, I would like to make a super important statement. What you see is not what we do. In other words, in order to create a beautiful and elegant arm movement, we are not focusing on arm movement. There's something else needs to happen for the arms to move like that. And that's the key. And what our focus is the core of Latin American dancing, which is Cuban motion. Please stay patient, focusing on that, which will make your arms go. And let me show now how to do it exactly step by step. Now, if you have watched my last or previous 3 videos right before this one, where I talk about counteraction, energy flow, and movement through neutral position, then it will definitely help you with what we're doing today. If you haven't watched it, it's okay, you can watch it later. I will still talk about the stuff that we need for the arm movement, okay? Alrighty guys, step 1, Cuban motion. What is it? Let's do it together, let's practice it. Even if you already know how to do it, let's just build it up. So we are moving our weight from one leg to another leg, from one side to another side. As a result, your hips are creating this kind of pendulum. So if I move my weight to this side, which is my right hip is higher, left one is lower. I lower my heel, I do go through the middle, and then I go to this side. This hip is higher, this hip is lower. It is very important to go through the middle because that's what pendulum is. So pendulum has the middle point that goes over. Swing is a free movement under a fixed point. So when we move like this, it's not pendulum. It just goes like this, and it's forced. So if you see I'm moving, it's falling out of my body system. Okay? So what I need you to do now, focus on your legs pushing. So even though my foot is flat, slightly open, I push my weight, and my hips going, my spine just following that. Yeah? So moving and moving. For now, I just do it flat. So the key here is to go through the middle to keep this high. You can move it a little bit more, lowering the heel. You can go just from one foot to another, keeping both flat. So that's more for the, let's say, when we're doing cucaracha. Yes, but when we move in full weight, we would have toe. This hip higher, this hip is lower. Now, to make it more continuous, we are creating a rotation. Okay? So move to one side, we're going to rotate on this side, we're going to lower the heel, still go through the middle and go to this side. Again, we're going to rotate here, going to lower the heel and going to go to this side. Now, we are already starting to move a little bit more weight through our feet. What does it mean? It means this. So before we were just going flat from side to side, our weight is usually either toward the heels or to the middle part of the foot. However, the moment we are starting to rotate, the weight goes more to the back of the foot, and when we push pendulum to this side, it goes more to the ball of the foot. Yes, and then we go again back towards the heel. Arch is better, don't go too far to the heel, it's going to be too much. For now, to feel it, go for it. Yeah, now we lower and we move to the front, to the ball of the foot. In other words, let's say we were side, then hip is going behind the shoulder, through the middle, and it goes in front of the shoulder. In this way, the weight in the hip is really in the front part of the foot. Then rotate again side and back, and now from here we go to this side. It's very important to engage muscles here when we are winding, when we're rotating it back, so it would not fall out like this. Our hip should never go behind the heel. You will never recover. Don't forget, to make it rotation, this needs to be thrown, pushed to the other side. and not to get stuck here, and here again we're falling out. Let me do it sideways a little bit as well. So let's say I'm going to the side, starting here, going a little bit more to the back. Now I'm going to go to the front, to the back of the heel. To the front, to the back. 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and. So it's not only about moving the hips by themselves, it's about moving the weight on our feet that is affecting how our hips are moving, and essentially body and arms from that too. So let's be patient. Let's start from that first. So move to the side, rotate it, move to the ball, release, rotate to the back. Again, more to the back part of the foot. Lower the heel, go through the middle, and go towards the toes, towards the ball. Very good. And now gently go back to the heel, lower, and we move over. Okay? There is something else happening there. Yes? I have never mentioned this before, which I'll do now. Right once we arrive, and now both legs strong and straight, because we're holding it. Yes? We're holding our weight. We're controlling it. And we need to redirect. There is something happening that we call release. Yes? Imagine that you stand in a superstore, yes, with both legs, and then the lineup is super, super long. You're in the lineup, yes? You're going to probably do like this. Relax. Yeah? So you bend in the knee, and you kind of dropping, let's say, your weight, releasing your weight onto your leg. Your leg is still strong. Doesn't mean you bend the knee. But there is a bit of release. Now, we can do it with by bending knee, or we can still do that release with keeping both legs straight. Now, when we release, our spine is still stretching. So there is still energy pressing down, going through our spine. But it means I'm not holding my weight with both legs anymore. See, now I am. I push. This leg is pushing. This leg is receiving. But now I'm going to allow this weight to start releasing towards the side. It is very small feeling, almost internal. And that's what initiates that release and rotation. And we'll go to this side. I'll still go and rotate. Go to this side. I'm catching here. I release and I rotate. Please don't go from one side to another side. Yes? It just dropping, we're getting stuck. It's very important for us to go to the front, release and rotate. Now we'll lower the heel, we'll go to the front, release and rotate. It will be super important for our arm movement and what happens with the upper part of the body. Be patient, I'll lead you towards it, okay? So let's do it again. Now we're practicing Cuban motion by moving weight and having release in our standing leg on the axis. Okay? So let's practice it together. So let's move our weight to the foot, both legs strong, and now we're just going to relax. And rotate, lower the heel, move to this side, standing strong, relax. Rotate, and we go side, now release, rotate. Go side, please don't force it. It's this part of the pendulum, of that swing, pendulum swing, yes, this release. But because of rotation, there is a word called nutation when we have a pendulum movement that goes into rotation. So let's try it together again. Move side, release, rotate. Move over your ball of the foot, release, rotate, and we go again to the other side, to the ball, release, rotate. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and I'm just counting numbers. 2 and all right? I know we're still doing arm movement, yeah? But this is the key. This is the core for us, okay? So last time I'm going to go sideways, and I'm going to go 2 and 3 and to the front, super important, and to this side and okay? That was part 1. We did pendulum, rotation, and there is a release of the weight in order to get this all going with the weight, okay? Alrighty guys, point number 2. Now we're going to link our arms to that Cuban motion, pendulum, and rotation. Okay? If you recall from the previous tutorial when we talked about energy, we are pressing our feet, our legs into the floor. The energy from that engagement bounces off and goes through the leg towards our center, which is right here between the hip bones. It goes towards the sacrum. Yes? Imagine that all your intestines, internal organs are going in. Yeah? And now what happens to the spine? We have two buttons here that will compress, and that what creates our position. Energy flows through the spine into the arms. But we really need to have this leg engagement into our back, right here, and this is where through the nerve connection it goes towards the arms. If our legs are not engaged, if we don't have that energy that is pressing down, working against gravity, arm movements will always look very sloppy. So you don't have to do too much. It's not like you have to push it and kill it. Just enough to feel that there is a pressure, that your weight is being carried by your legs and feet. Okay? So once I created those buttons, watch this. All I need you to do now is just to imagine that you are wiggling those buttons, like there is a bar and you hold it in the middle, moving like this. And what will happen? Your arms will flow. I'm not moving the arms. I'm not moving my shoulders. I'm imagining that I'm moving just those two buttons. And my upper part is following. That's what the focus is on. See, I move my body, my arms flow, and I go from one side to another side. I can throw it forward. Yes, we can throw it back, but it all comes from those two buttons being plugged in. Imagine, plugged in, just pushed in. Okay? This is picked up, so we're not falling out with our ribs. This is all picked up like a zipper. And two buttons. I know it might feel a little bit restrictive. For now it's okay. Later just do it just enough to keep it. Don't block it, okay? So coming back to arms. So this is your reaction with the arms. Now, what will happen now? If you recall, we did this pendulum rotation. So when we're moving the hip, when we're moving our pelvis, the hip is going in front of the shoulder, then go side and back, and now we go through the front to this front, through the middle, sorry, to the front, side and back. Yeah? So when we are moving our weight to the front of the shoulder or to the front of the foot, in front of the shoulder, our arm will naturally balance it out by going back with the elbow. It's not possible for our hip to go forward and arm forward. We will fall. Yes? So what will happen when you're moving your weight over the ball? The arm, the elbow will go slightly back, just like this. I'm not trying to move it back because I'll be blocking it. I'm trying to react. So I'm concentrating that my weight is here, and I'm putting just enough of the elbow back to balance it out. Okay? Now, during that release that we talked about, that's the moment when we are moving our elbow to the side. So when I came here, I release, and my arm is starting to open, my hip and my elbow to the side. The more I move my hip to the back, the more my arm is moving forward to balance it out. Now, in order to come back to this side, the elbow bends, and I move like pushing water in front of me. I'm moving it to the opposite side. Let me do it one more time. So when I'm moving my weight to this side and the hip is in front, my elbow is moving back. When I release, the elbow is starting to go to the side. And the more I rotate back, the more my arm is going forward. Once I'm done here and I'm about to go, this elbow is dropping down, and we move in pendulum, and the arm moving towards the opposite side. Don't go too much across the body, just enough to kind of imagine you pushing water. Let me do it one more time. So I move to this side elbow. I release, elbow starting to open. I keep on rotating, arm is matching it. And now when I push from here, the elbow bends and I go. So my arm movement is related to the weight transfer. If you noticed, I did not straighten my arm with the step because there is no more saddle. It becomes very disconnected. please watch me. This is already the key point. When I arrive, elbow is back. Yes, I'm not settled yet. I just arrived. When I release, my elbow starts to open. So that moment of release is the one that straightens the arm. We rotate and elbow comes back. We go again and 1 and 2 and then we come back. We can of course bring it more forward if we want to, but right now just keep it a little bit diagonal, rotate and bring it back with pendulum. The focus is still on the hip. Okay? So if I do it with you, you can follow me. I'll turn around in a moment. The elbow, if we do just purely elbow itself, elbow goes back. Now just open it to the side, straighten it. You can bring it a little bit forward, rotate so the elbow can move, and imagine you pushing water. Do it again. Elbow would go back, open to the side, here, rotate and go, bring over. Yes? Let me emphasize this point. When we arrive with the elbow and the hip. And only when we settle, our arm opens. If you again go straight right away like this, you're just disconnecting your weight and your arm disconnected. I'll give you even more. If you're already an advanced dancer, you can grab this. If not, you can practice it later. We know that, you know that our shoulder blades connecting our arms to the body. So when I arrive here, my shoulder blade is just normal. But the moment I release, my shoulder blade connects to the hip, to the foot. And that's what pushes my arm out. So my arm movement is not because of the arm. My arm movement because of the release of the weight, rotation and go. I'll show you specific, today's maybe is a bonus, exactly what to do with the shoulder blades in order to create a comfortable movement. Deal? Okay, follow me again. So I'm going to go this side and pendulum, elbow goes back, release, movement to the side, rotate the hip, arm goes forward, rotate the elbow and bring with your pendulum over here. Do it again, rotate this side, this will get ready. We go again, hip and elbow, hip goes forward, elbow goes back. I release, elbow start moving to the side, rotate, elbow moves out, and when I push away from this leg, it goes towards this side. Release, rotate, and I go again, elbow on the hip, release, rotate, bring it over. Let's make it more mechanical. And 1, release, move, start straightening, rotate, bend the elbow and bring it over. How are we doing? Doing okay? We can try the same on the other arm. Do not link both arms together. That's not the focus for today. Yeah, I'm going to go move weight again, moving the weight to the front, elbow goes back. We release, relax, elbow starts to open, and the more we rotate back with our hip, the more the arm opens and moves forward. Now we're moving pendulum, and the arm matches it. Rotate, we're getting ready. Arrive, release, rotate, bring it over. Rotate, getting elbow, pendulum, elbow goes back. Rotate, arm starts opening, rotate more, and we bring it over. Let me turn around, let's do it again. Let's start with the right one again. So go to this side, elbow goes back, release, starting to open, rotate, go slightly diagonal, and now from here we just go pendulum and elbow goes. Release, rotate, move back, side, open, bring it over. Release, rotate, bring it over, side and open, bring it to this side. Please try with the left one. We move the weight, elbow goes back. We relax and starting to rotate, elbow starts to open up. The more we rotate back, the more elbow goes back. So there is a position, hip goes forward, hip goes back, arm goes forward. We rotate a little bit on the arm, and we bring it to this side with the weight. and 2, and 3, rotate, bring it over, side and forward, and we transfer back in here. Okay? Do we have this part? All right. Third, and this is the most advanced level, but you can be aware of it. If you already have done dancing before, then it would definitely be helpful. We're going to include a little bit of our upper part of the body, more through the neutral position in the video that we've done last. So when we're doing the pendulum rotation, as a reaction to that rotation, this side is stretching. And that would allow us to start moving, pendulum arriving. But when arriving, these two parts starting to connect and go. Yeah? So this is still the focus. So when I create the rotation, my side is stretching, my elbow is here. The more I move, and this part starting to connect and release, that's the moment my arm is opening. So again, I'm moving over, my elbow on the side and the hip a little bit resisting. When I'm arriving, this is connecting, neutral position. That's the moment the arm is starting to come out. So our arms not only linked to the hips, but also to the upper part of the body. That is linked to our weight. So if I do just the body and the hips, rotate, this is side stretching. I move and connect my hip and the body, neutral position, release, rotate. Stretching my right side, move, really collect, neutral position, release and rotate, this side protruding. So if you can see my arms now resisting against the body. Now, this is reaction, so don't focus on it. Focus still on moving the weight, because that's the key for us. Cuban motion, it's what ruling it all, okay? It's just that our upper part is taking part in the movement as well, okay? Now let's use information from the counteraction in our body video that we've talked about previously. If you recall, we had those two buttons, and now our pendulum is moving in relation to the upper part of the body. So imagine your upper part being like a vest, whereas the bottom part is moving in relation to it. Again, those two buttons are paramount. When my hip is moving forward, I release and rotate the hip back. The button on this side is being plugged in and being turned on. So the more I move back, the more my body, through that button, staying in a position. That's what allows us to control our arms. So the arms are not just flopping around. So in the way, our weight is moving it, but our upper part controlling it, so we can bring it back from one side to another side. Let me show you one more time. So I do pendulum, elbow goes back, release starting to open. When my hip is moving back, my buttons at the back are being plugged in, keeping upper part more stable, but the arm is still reacting to that movement. And now when I bring it weight over, my elbow comes back. So imagine that the bottom part is very active, it's very dynamic, but the upper part is a little bit more, it's reacting, but more stable. And the arms are just moving out as a reaction, and we can express through the arms the way we see fit. If everything is moving too much, then you cannot control it. It's too fast. All right? So the counteraction, when we do opposition, release, rotate, we're starting to move. My upper part staying. When I move now, push water towards this side, and my arm counters this hip. Release, rotate, and I'm going to come to this side. Upper part, through the buttons, is trying to stay stable, okay? All right, let's summarize it all. Number one, we have a pendulum and rotation that is moving through our feet and moving our way through it. Number two, our arms are reacting in opposition to our hips. Okay, so when now my weight is moving over the ball, the elbow is going back. Now once the hip, we're releasing, and hip starting to rotate back, the arm is starting to open. The more we rotate, the more arm goes forward. And now when we're ready to push from this leg, and the body already taking us, the elbow bringing the arm over. And we start again. Please still focus on one arm at a time. In the subsequent tutorial, I will link both arms together, and I'll show you an awesome exercise how to practice together. Now, For the shoulder blade engagement, you know that we are doing the hip action pendulum rotation, that digit 8 with our hips, yes, or infinity sign, yeah? Now you can do the same with your shoulder blades. If you've never done it before, it's actually a pretty cool feeling. So number one, you have to stretch along your clavicles and at the back. So this distance in front and the back is the same. We don't want to do it this way. We don't want to stand like this. It will not work. So the shoulder blade will be only engaged if we can stretch it out. So when your back is a little bit flatter. Yes, imagine if this is your back, the shoulder blades are meant to move here. If your back is not flat, it cannot move out. That's why sometimes we have fanning shoulder blades, because the position is not right. So press down, engage your buttons, and stretch along your clavicles. That will also open your chest, but this part still can be gathered in. So from here you can put, let's say we're going to put one arm first. I'm going to stretch it up, and I'm going to just press with my shoulder blade down, just a little bit. Down, and when I'm doing so, again, I'm not doing with the shoulders. You have to be very careful doing this. You have to do it with your shoulder blade, like right here, along this part, and release. Down, release. You can think about lifting your arm a little bit in order to feel that this is not the shoulder. So lift your arm and press it down. We don't have to squeeze it too hard. This is more connecting muscle group rather than acting, rather than moving. This is what we move. This is where you connect. So don't overdo your back too much. Not natural looking, yeah? So same on the other side. Just lift your arm and try to feel your shoulder blade pressing down. You really have to do it on the same leg as you're standing on. Okay? And the more your body is aligned, knees going back, pelvis forward, ribs, the more easier for you to feel that sensation. Okay? So this is pressing down. You can just play with that, lifting arm a little bit, lifting the elbow, and pressing down again, not with the shoulder, but with your shoulder blade. Okay? So that's first part of this exercise. Number two is, as we did the pendulum and rotation here, that number 8 on infinity sign, we are going to do the same with the upper part, like so. So I'm going to put it here. I'm going to move. I'm trying to keep it stable. Move forward, shoulder blade rotation. Forward, rotation. So I'm trying to move only through my back to create that number 8. It is very small. So I go a little bit forward, press and a little bit back. Forward, press back. Make sure that you move the weight even a little bit in order to play with the shoulder blades. Press and back. Over, press and back. Over, press and back. Over, press and back. So if I turn around, do it with you backing. So this side, press and back. This side, press and back. 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and that 8 will also coordinate with this one. Now, if you've never done move your shoulder blade, this is an awesome exercise. Don't overdo it. The moment you feel a little bit sore, back off. Yes, because those muscles are not meant to be overused. Okay? They're very thin muscles there. So be very gentle to yourself with this part. But it's good to be aware, to become aware of it. Now, when we're moving those parts, technically will turn on almost automatically. So when I arrive, if the pendulum weight goes here, my shoulder blade will kind of connect a little bit, just naturally on top. Now when I release, that can be squeezed a little bit, pressed a little bit more to rotate. Don't forget, it's the hip that is going up and acting, not the upper part of the body pressing down. This is more connecting in order to, for us to move. With kids, I usually explain it's like chewing mouth, yes? The bottom jaw is the one that's moving, whereas the top one is staying. So this is what we have to create. We have to create the top part, and the bottom one is moving towards that, which will create a beautiful arm movement with anything you would like to do. Cha-cha will be the same, just smaller. I'll make another exercise just talking about cha-cha arms or samba arms, maybe even jive arms, but the idea will be the same with all the dances, besides probably actually even in paso doble, because what we do with our weight moving and the way our arms react to it, it's still the same. We have the same body for all the dances, so the body mechanics are staying the same. It's only the rhythm is the one changing how we emphasize it, how we move it. Do we have it, guys? Please let me know in the comments below if this was useful. I know it was super long tutorial, kind of like almost like a full course of it. Please let me know how you have felt. I'd be more than happy to elaborate a little bit more. I'm planning to do a both arm connection video together with couple exercises coming soon. All right? Thank you. And here it is, guys. This is our template for Latin American movement that is connecting our body and arms into one. I do not believe in the shortcuts. Shortcuts, go fast in, go fast out. Very superficial, not a genuine movement. We have to develop it. Please take your time. Focus on the weight in the hips, focus on the body, and let your arms flow and stem from it. Please let me know in the comments below how you have felt. Try it out. If you have any questions, let me know. I'd be more than happy to adjust and elaborate, but I will still create another video connecting both arms and a practice exercise that you can do it with music. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for following. If it was helpful, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be looking forward to see you next time. Bye now.